You are Locked On Marlins Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? Welcome to another edition of your Locked On Marlins Postcast. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, and you hear the enthusiasm in my voice. Day in and day out, it remains the same for this team, even though some days they make you mad that you ever developed an interest in the game of baseball. And tonight was one of those nights as the Astros blast the Marlins off the field by the score of 9-1. It was not pretty in any way, shape, or form tonight. We will get to the details in just a minute. One of the worst games of the season for the Marlins. They continue to make every starting pitcher from every team look like the second coming of Cy Young. For example, maybe Sandy Koufax, I don't know. Whatever the case may be, the Marlins have had all kinds of trouble hitting. It's your Locked On Marlins Postcast, and it starts right now. First off, I want to thank you, as we always do about this time. Thank you for making Locked On Marlins Postcast your first listen every day. We're free, available wherever you get your podcasts, and of course, right here on YouTube as well. Locked On Sports Miami, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And tonight's episode of Locked On Marlins Postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LOCKEDONMLB, Locked On MLB, for a first deposit match up to $100 with the Prize Picks. No doubt about it, man. The Marlins just got shanked tonight. I mean, they walked out on the yard for lunch, and as soon as they got out there, someone grabbed them from behind, and then the homemade shiv was going in the organs. I mean, there's no way around it with the Astros tonight. They just came out early. They scored in the first inning. They scored 4 in the second inning, hammering the ball all around the field on Brian Hoeing. And who? Yeah, exactly, Brian Hoeing. You think of how many starting pitchers the Marlins have had this year. They're up, they're down from AAA, Jacksonville. I mean, literally, the travel secretaries have been the MVPs for the team this year, besides Tanner Scott, right? So it's been back and forth. It's been Alcantara out for the year from the beginning. It's been Weathers. Now on the 60-day IL, after they told us he was close to maybe coming back, Luzardo's on the 30-day, at least till the All-Star break. Forget about it. They have been, those two lefties, Ryan Weathers and Jesus Luzardo, your best pitchers all year long. You just got Edward Cabrera back. He had a 10 strikeout game. It's about all he's done all year. He's back now. Alcantara's out for the year. Just been a tough go. Been a tough go for Miami this season. All the way across the board with this team. They just haven't been able to get it done. And today it was Framber Valdez. It was his turn, right? The lefty. Average, slider, sinker, curveball, nothing special, believe me. And I'm not knocking him. Everybody in the big leagues is special. But this guy is not a 10 strikeout pitcher. Obviously set a season high, I think a career high today, with 10 strikeouts, 1 run on 6 hits in 7 innings, 10 strikeouts. They turned 3 double plays for him. I mean, Yainer Diaz had a big game at the dish, 3 for 4, 3 RBIs for Houston. Joey Loperfido, young kid, first career triple, second career homer, 2-run shot in the second inning for Houston. Bregman, 2 for 3 again with an RBI. Jake Myers, an RBI double. Who's the other dude who had the hit in the RBI? I mean, it seems like pretty much everyone did today. Cabbage came in and got one. Pinch hit for Alvarez, who also had one. So how about an RBI from the guy who started at DH and an RBI from the guy who came in and replaced him? You know what I'm saying? Xavier Edwards, 2 hits for the Marlins. The highlight of the day for Miami, Emmanuel Rivera came on and pitched the 8th inning. The bottom of the 8th. Yeah, he's a third baseman. Came on and pitched the bottom of the 8th. Got the Astros 1-2-3 hitters. 1-2-3 on 11 pitches. How about that? How about that for Emmanuel Rivera? Gotta love that, man. Gotta love that, what he was able to do. And real quick, while I have it in my head, and I don't want to forget, which is the only reason why I'm saying it now and not setting it up for later in the show, and I'll do it again later in the show if I think about it too, but shout out to the great people of Houston, Texas. I don't love the city, but I love the people there. Every time I've been there over the years, I've been treated really well. It's a home away from home for anybody who visits, and they just got crushed by Hurricane Beryl, which came barreling down on them. And you know, and I know, South Floridians, hello, what it's like to survive these nasty hurricanes. And The Houston Astros fans showed up last night, 34,000 plus. The Houston Astros fans showed up tonight, 32,000 plus. In the midst of the power being out, of the water being an issue, people are ticked off, but they're still showing up for their team. You could learn from them, Marlins fans. Any fans could learn from them. Declan Cronin, not good tonight. 5 strikeouts, but 4 runs allowed, Bad night for him. Roderick Munoz is going to try to stem the tide a little bit tomorrow night. Houston's undecided on their starter, but Munoz 1-3 with a 5.48 would never be in a rotation had everyone stayed healthy. The Astros, man, they started 12-24. Can you believe that's their worst start in 10 years? They started 12-24 in all of baseball. This is how hard it is, man. All of baseball is happy about that with the cheating scandal. They love when you're getting your medicine, stomp them and kick them while they're down. What happens? They turn it around completely, and they're 36-20 since then. They won 8 in a row at home. 8 in a row at home after starting the season 12-24. The Marlins have a 9-game losing streak. The Marlins have a 6-game losing streak. The Marlins have 3 5-game losing streaks. And I had to pound the table as I said that for emphasis because there, I'll pound it without it. Just a bad year so far. And you know, they're entertaining occasionally, day in and day out. For the most part, you watch them and you see flashes. You see some brilliance in the games. You see things to give you hope for the future. You see the effort. You see the attitude. You see all that. I mean, you saw Dane Myers throw a runner out at the plate tonight. You saw Chisholm crash into the wall trying to make a catch. You saw Cronin strike out 5 hitters. But what you saw is not Major League Baseball. The Marlins are not a Major League caliber team right now. I hate to say this. It's terrible. It's disparaging. Yes, it is. All those things. It's everything that makes athletes hate media guys, sports talk show hosts. I admit it loudly and proudly. But when you put out a product that is this bad, when you play baseball, this brand of baseball, day in and day out, finding new ways to lose. When you're 32-60, you've lost 9 in a row, 6 in a row, 3 times 5 in a row. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say when you look so overmatched by every single pitcher who starts against you? And late in games, you get to the bullpens. Late in games, you get to the starter. It didn't happen tonight. For whatever reason, every single starter, you're chasing every pitch in the world. You're making them look like world beaters. You're making them look like world beaters. You didn't even get at-bats with runners in scoring position in the first 2 games of this series. 3 of them tonight. Last night, you didn't have an at-bat with the runner in scoring position until the 7th inning. You throw a Little League team in there. High school, college, whatever level you want, and get those results. How many times they strike out tonight? 14. How many walks? 1. 1 walk. Draw a walk, for crying out loud. If I'm the Marlins right now and I'm Skip Schumacher, I'm telling every hitter, and I don't care, you haven't earned squat, every hitter, take till you get a strike. If you don't know how to do it, we're going to teach you. You should know by the time you get to the big leagues to take till you get a strike when you're not going well. You should know to do anything you can to mix it up. Going up there hacking like beer league softball and letting every single pitcher who faces you feel like a dominating performer. Every single one. You get sick of it, don't you? I do. This is not a therapy session. Lay on the couch. Do you have insurance? I take insurance. I don't know. It's frustrating. Day in and day out. And tonight, overall, was just a stinker. The Astros with 13 hits. They had 9 RBIs. Like a beer league softball game. What's the team that played Bugs Bunny? Just keep the scoreboard, keeps turning. They're all 9 feet tall with muscles like this. That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. I mean, what else is it? What else is it? It's comedy at this point. It's comedy. Get ready for the fire sale. If anybody wants these guys, Chisholm, De La Cruz, gone. Tanner Scott, probably gone. Jesus Luzardo, probably gone. And Weathers, maybe gone. You got to be hoping at this point, even if you love your teammates, And how on earth could you ever have fun? Remember the great Kobe Bryant when he was on Jimmy Kimmel Live and they showed his teammates while he was out on the injured list? They won a game after a massive losing streak, and they were jumping up and down acting like clowns, and they showed Kobe's face. Remember that? How is this team in any position to ever celebrate? Why would you ever let them put on that stupid hat when you're 32-60? They need to learn how to play baseball first. How about that? This is your Locked On Marlins postcast. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Sometimes you got to take those youngsters to task. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they need that tough love. Now, if only I could try that with my daughter. That's a story for another show and another topic. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Locked On Marlins postcast right here, wherever you get your podcast every day, whether it's Spotify, whether it is Apple Music, whether it's iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, you name it, we got it right here on YouTube as well. Locked On Marlins postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. You everydayers know this. Your team every day. On the other side of this break, we continue with the misery and explain to you more why this team is so miserably miserable, and we can all be miserable together. It's your Locked On Marlins postcast. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. But no matter how miserable the Marlins make us this season, we can all rejoice because this episode of Locked On Marlins Postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah! With summer travel heating up, especially travel for baseball games, it's time to explore those U.S. cities you always secretly wanted to learn about. Yes, I am talking about your rival cities. With hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com, you might just find your perfect stay even in your baseball rival city. And with the Marlins playing the way they are, let's just turn this into what it is. It's an education through the historical cities of America. It's New York. It's D.C. You know what I'm saying? It's Philly. You got D.C., you got Philly, you got New York, you got the history, you got the older cities, you got the best food in the country. So what if your baseball team's going to get murdered in every game? You just go to the game and get your tickets, but you're there to see the city. Nothing like it. And if they happen to be the blind squirrel that finds an acorn and win a game once in a while, all the better to throw it in the face of your rivals' fans. From hotels that overlook stadiums to family-friendly resorts, Booking.com has so many choices across the U.S. for your summer travel this MLB season. Not to mention you get out of Miami or Fort Lauderdale or wherever you live in South Florida this time of year when you're living in a bowl of soup, for crying out loud, and it's hurricane season. Forget about it. Get out of there. Go see the Marlins on the road. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, in this case, any city that gets you out of South Florida, and any team you can go watch besides the Marlins. Even your rivals. Book today on Booking.com on the site or in the Booking.com app. Booking.com, Booking.yeah. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. Gotta love that. That's a famous chant. It's game time, baby, and you know what game time means to me. I love going to Major League Baseball games. As a kid, I went to so many. My dad every year took me to a stadium. I went to Montreal to see the Gary Carter Expos with the Crow, Warren Cromartie flying, Andre Dawson, the Hawk. How about the Crow and the Hawk? Dawson, a famous Marlin. Crow, too, for crying out loud. They got smart. They moved to Florida. But I'd go see them. I saw the Kent Tekulve, Willie Stargell. We are family. Pirates, don't ask me why I said Kent Tekulve first. Just the sidearm closer. You know what I'm saying? Yankees, Red Sox at Fenway Park. Used to go up there and watch my team beat on the Bostonians in their own building. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm doing here, right? My grandfather took me to see the Bash brothers, Canseco and McGuire, murdering Lansdowne Street, taking batting practice in Beantown. So many incredible experiences, and game time makes it so much easier for you to create those memories with the ones you love. My grandfather, my father, they had to get the tickets in the mail. They had to go up to the window the day of the game and hope that there were tickets available. Not anymore, not with Game Time, the authorized marketplace of Major League Baseball. It makes getting tickets faster, easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. Imagine that. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat right in the app, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Family-friendly, purchasing-friendly features in the app. Last-minute tickets, flash deals, Zone deals. How about zone deals? You pick the zone of the stadium. They pick the seats for you, and the price is right there. They have easy-to-find tickets for every kind of event, not just games. You get views from the seats in the venue, every seat, every venue on game time, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, and you need that this day and age. What about inflation protection? They have that too. Last minute deals up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, all those and more with, what time is it? Game time. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry, and they will give you 110% of the difference if you find your tickets cheaper anywhere else. So do what I do. Do what millions of people and millions. Download the Game Time app. I just did The Rock with the Austin Powers finger. I'll be okay. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. You got to love it when you kind of infuse and cross-connect your cultural references. I said, and millions, like The Rock, and did the Austin Powers. Millions, and it wasn't even millions, it was billions. Anyway, I'll be okay. You know, when you mix up your cultural references. But they're both badass, and I can do whatever I want with them, right? They're mine. I've made them my own at this point. Anyway, I digress. It's Locked On Marlins Postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. I don't know what to talk about. They lost 9-1. Give me a break. 9-1. I mean, what are you going to do? It was 5-0 by the end of the second inning. Thank you, Marlins. There goes the postgame show. What am I supposed to do with that? Houston, we have a problem. Houston doesn't have a problem. The Astros are killing it since they started the season off terrible. The Texans looking good headed into football season, but the Dolphins are too. University of Miami, baby. All about the U. That was the most embarrassing thing ever when they latched on to that terrible Soulja Boy song. And they made it about the U, and he was actually talking about something to do to a girl that, kind of like when the Republicans made Born in the USA their campaign song in 1988, and it was actually written against the government. But here comes Ronald Reagan. Hey, this is my song. He didn't even know where he was anyway half the time, 3/4 of the time, more than that. Anyway, I'm going back in history. But one thing the Marlins need to do is get healthy, right? You got Weathers on the IL. You got Luzardo on the IL. They can't help it that they've had so many pitchers on the IL this season. Position players are throwing in games now. Emmanuel Rivera with a scoreless inning looking better than half the pitchers who pitched tonight. Take a breath, Jim. It'll be okay. They make medication for this. I can take it after the show. Hopefully you will too. Anyway, legal, of course. But the Marlins are really right now looking for any kind of an identity. I talk day in and day out about one team can win the World Series, about how one team can win the division. Only so many teams can make the playoffs. Marlins aren't going to be one of them. But day in and day out, if you're looking for entertaining baseball, usually this team delivers. Usually. Not today. Not today. You're going to have stinker once in a while. You're going to have some stinkers here and there. But this team has been abysmal all season long. You know, there's no other way to say it. There really isn't. Astros had 1 in the first, 4 in the second, 1 in the fourth, 3 in the sixth. Come on. Marlins, 1 in the fifth. Marlins, 6 hits. Don't ask me how they managed to put together 6 hits. Chisholm 0 for 3, De La Cruz 1 for 4, Berger 0 for 4. What's he like, 1 for his last 99 with 94 strikeouts? I mean, seriously. He had a home run the other day. Berger's having a terrible year. He's hitting 214. 214 with a 351 slugging percentage and a 256 on base percentage. He's hitting 214. Josh Bell, 227. Come on. De La Cruz, 241. Chisholm, 256. Gordon, 225. Rivera, 210. Man, just been bad. So bad. You almost would have to try to be that bad. I don't like to be a negative guy, but today there's nothing positive about this game. Absolutely nothing. Except that there's only a few more minutes left in the show and the game's over, and tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow's another day, my friends, and they will wrap up this godforsaken series against this red-hot Astros team that all of a sudden has won 8 in a row at home. Get that juice from Minute Maid Park, baby. Got enough juice in there to launch the space shuttle right now. And I hate the Astros. I hate the Astros. Cheaters. I don't like cheaters. No one likes cheaters. They paid their penance, I know. I like Dane Myers, man. I'm just randomly bouncing around now. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Step aside. Take another break here. And when we come back, I'll tell you how the Marlins can get it back on track tomorrow with Roddery Munoz, who can actually look pretty good at times, and what he will need to do against this Astro lineup. How about Emmanuel Rivera should start on the mound tomorrow? It's Grease, Locked On Marlins postcast. I'll be right back. Right after I tell you about Prize Picks, America's number one daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, also daily, whatever I was going to say. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has you covered every week there too. So much so that I just did a diabolical laugh for no apparent reason. From lowering select player stat projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit, or getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. With the finals over, Stanley Cup Finals 2, the hoops action doesn't stop on Prize Picks. Women's basketball still heating up. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, the WNBA, the Olympic team coming up as well. The Olympics all the way across the board. You name it. Prize Picks available in 30 states across the country. California, Texas, and Georgia. That's more than 30 states around the country. So do what I do and do it now. Do it now. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with Prize Picks, America's number one daily fantasy sports app. All right, Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Wrapping it up on your Wednesday, middle of the week, hump day. Disgraceful performance today by the Marlins. Hoeing had no chance from the beginning. 5 runs, 4 earned. The Astros ripped him from the jump. Loperfido, the 2-run shot in the second inning. By the time he was gone, it was 3 innings pitched, 5 runs, 4 earned, and forget about it. Yeah, and it just one of those games for Miami, all the way across the board for them tonight. Cronin comes in, he strikes out 5, but he gives up 4 earned in that. So the Astros 9-1, 13 hits. Framber Valdez strikes out a season-high 10. Every starting pitcher looks like Sandy Koufax or Cy Young against the Marlins. I say those two because they were lefties, and the Marlins are 473 billion against lefties this season. You know that they hit 210 as a team against curveballs. 210 against curveballs. I could hit 400 against curveballs. I mean, not in the big leagues, but that's just a small technicality, a minor one at that. But I'll say this, I don't want to be a wise ass about this anymore. The Marlins give you so many reasons day in and day out. You everydayers know this on the network. They give you many, many reasons to be enthralled, to sit here day in and day out and watch them and realize they're growing. They're building. They've been just decimated by injuries, especially to the pitchers. Their ace is out for the year. Weathers, Luzardo, 60-day, 30-day, their 2 best pitchers who have actually thrown this season. Bullpen's been yeoman-like. Tanner Scott's an all-star. The Marlins have an all-star. You've had the 9-gamer. You've had the 6-gamer. You've had the 3-5-gamers, the losing streaks. It's been a brutal year. Usually they give you some entertaining baseball day in and day out. Not today. Not one bit, nothing about this. I'll take it back. Dane Myers threw out a runner at the plate, and Emmanuel Rivera, a position player, threw a 1-2-3 8th inning against Houston's 1-2-3 hitters on 11 pitches. As Mel Allen used to say, how about that? Hey, that was a pretty good Mel Allen, wasn't it? I'm kind of stoked about that. This week in baseball. How about that? I'm going to do that every show now, whether you like it or not. Until the Marlins put together a 5-game win streak. How about that? What can we do? Throw everything in the middle of the room. The trust pile. Do something, Skip. He's tried everything. What am I kidding? Skip's a great manager, too. I hope that this doesn't reflect on him. I'll keep him here a long time. Astros 5 for 11 with runners in scoring position, too, man. Just one of those nights. Just one of those nights. It's just one of them days. Don't take it personal. You can't help but take it personal when they play like that, can you? That's what we should do. We should do a singing show. Talent competition from a talentless host. That'd be a lot of fun, right? What do you guys think? All right, before we wrap it up, I want to tell you, and I want to thank you one last time for making Locked On Marlins Postcast your first listen every day. We know you have choices. We know the Marlins don't make it an easy one, but we do. We're free. We're available wherever you get your podcast. Spotify, Apple Music, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean. You see what I'm saying? YouTube. Locked On Sports Miami, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. And, of course, oh, that's a good job, Jim. Just close the show format before the show's over. Good job. See that? Put me in coach. I'm ready to play today. But, man, oh, man, tough one. And the Marlins and Astros will wrap up this series tomorrow, and then they'll go to Cincinnati. Oh, we get to see one of the greatest young players in the game. I can't wait to watch the Reds, by the way. They are so much fun. They just swept the Yankees in New York. They swept the Yankees in New York. The Reds did. And one of the most exciting young players in baseball, their shortstop, Elliott. I can't wait to watch that dude this weekend. Marlins against the Reds. And you know what? Just anything to get out of Houston at this point because you're getting murdered here. Absolutely murdered by the Astros. And we don't want to ever see that. But day in and day out, this has been happening with the Marlins lately. Day in and day out. You every day know it. You see it every day. Where are we at? Where's the game tomorrow? Roderick Munoz on the mound for the Marlins. Undecided for the Stros. Miami plus 165. They're an underdog pretty much every day now. The Stros minus 195. The total is 8.5. Over is minus 130. They think the Stros are going to go over on their own. And plus 110 on the under. So no pitcher named for the Stros. Roderick Munoz 1-3 with a 5.48. The starter for the Marlins. Right now you're betting the offense for Houston, and you're betting that they've won 8 in a row at home. So go Stros, lay the chalk. Go over, lay the chalk. Dare I say double chalk parlay on the over and the Astros. The double chalk parlay. That's how bad the Marlins are right now. Double chalk parlay. We're making history here today on the show. And with that being said, mercifully, thank you, Lord, I can tell you that's all there is, Fish fans. There is no more. Your Locked On Marlins postcast on your Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. I had to think about that one for a second. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease at Jim Grease on social media at Jim Grease _. You don't really need the underscore. Like life hack there. Be back tomorrow after the game. 5:10 is the first pitch. Why are they showing me Pacific time? It's 8:10 first pitch tomorrow night. We'll be here after the game with your Locked On Marlins postcast. Until then, my friends, try to forget about this one. Let the stench wear off you from this 9-1 loss at the hands of the Houston Astros, these 2 games in a row that you've lost to start this series. Mercifully, you get out of Houston tomorrow, and maybe they'll let you take the space shuttle so you can get out of there quicker. Thank you so much for being here, Marlins fans. Keep your game tight and your mind right, baby. You know what we do. We are out.